Scorched crops and carcasses, anger and desperation. It's the worst drought in over 40 years.
And this should be growing now. See, it's completely dead.
This farmer is one of many who are feeling the ripple effect of the drought. It has rendered parts of the Karoo barren.
I'm currently running a loss of my guesstimate around about 600,000 rand loss for this year. Due to loss of production, loss of animals, we had to reduce our stock numbers. In the past, we used to sell interlinks of food and fodder to neighbouring farms and so on. This year we've had to buy in, so absolutely nothing. We've got no feed whatsoever to feed the animals, yeah.
On the neighbouring farm, Hendrik Wolfhard feeds his sheep for the second time in one day.
I think for me the most difficult is seeing my animals go hungry and some of them even dying. And economically for me it's not knowing where the money is going to come from to feed the animals. We do a budget every 6 months, but at the moment I don't know if I'll have enough money to feed them until December.
The Eastern Cape received less than 30% of its average spring rainfall between September and November. Graaff-Reinet only had 23 millimeters of rain the entire year. Supplementary feed costs farmers on average 25,000 rand a month. Even then, for some, it's just not enough. In Aberdeen, the situation is the same. Not a blade of grass to be found.
Such an emotional thing. Physically we can handle it, but emotionally, mentally, it's I can sense it, I can feel it. It's affecting all our farmers, in the Aberdeen and the Graaff-Reinet district. So it's become an emotional issue this now. It's beyond that sort of physical. We can handle that, but it's the emotions of it and the stress involved in the thing.
The agricultural sector, meant to be a massive economic driver in the province, has taken a severe knock.
Absolutely no assistance from the state to this point, and we are going to approach them again so that they can help the farm once the drought is broken, to then give them or provide cheap loans or cheap loans that can be serviced over a longer period, and so that we can then restock our properties.
It's not only the farmers who are feeling the heat. It's noon and the temperature has already reached 30 degrees Celsius. An exhausted Hendrik Claassen is desperate to quench his thirst.
It's really hard to cope without water. In the morning when we have to prepare kids for school, there is no water. In the afternoon when it comes back, it is green and it stings and we have to boil it. It is really hard.
In this area, going without water for 7 days is nothing new. The last time the taps were running was 4 days ago. It means a long walk to town.
When we have to cook, I have to go down. It's a mapping old car. I must drive or must go and pick up with some old buckets. Go and pick up water so that I must have water to pick up even if to go to the private toilet. It's like that. I'm supposed to go to the downtown, then it's to the town. Then we have water there.
1% of water is lost weekly due to the soaring temperatures. This is Ngweba Dam, which in 2012 was overflowing, but now is dry and empty due to decreased rainfall in this area. With no water in this dam, no sufficient boreholes in the town, and no rain predicted in the near future, residents here are appealing to local government to come up with strategies to deal with this dire crisis. The Eastern Cape government has made emergency funding available in the short term.
The money has been allocated to the COGTA by the provincial treasurer is 100 million. But the total amount for drought is about 174 million. Because 20 million of the 100 million will be transferring it to the Department of Rural Development. Because, of drought, There's not been ploughing in some other areas. As a result, Dr. Da did reprioritize from their own savings. Then they did secure 54 million, which makes the total amount for drought to be used by the provincial government to be about 174 million.
Humanitarian organisation Gift the Givers is playing a large part in relief efforts in a number of towns, including Graaff-Reinet.
And within the space of a few weeks, we've managed to drill the first 8 of the boreholes at 8 schools. And with that, we sent the water test to the lab, so the test came back for 100% fit for drinkable purposes. We then installed our pumps. We installed taps outside for the community. And then we gave Graaff-Reinet permanent water tankers. And every day, those boreholes play a critical role in this town. Where number one, people can go to the taps 24/7, get clean drinking water, and the water tankers working throughout the town.
Organised Agriculture says the intensity and duration of the drought have been underestimated.
It's actually a drop in the ocean that is going to be made available to the guys on the ground, if you want to call it that. It's almost too little, too late, and the impact that this is going to have, it actually frightens me. We can sit here and you say it's sort of like a talk summit, but I honestly hope if we leave here that our concerns are addressed at the highest level and are taken seriously.
Water and Sanitation Department has recommitted to maintaining infrastructure to ensure water provision and curb losses. It is also making funds available.
We're trying to see how we can be able to assist them to look after the infrastructure that is already in place, because a lot of water is actually lost by failing infrastructure. So that's another part. But the third part that is very important is to say, what do we do about the fact that there are grants that are available, but how are they utilized? So from our point of view as the department, we have the Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant, the Water and Sanitation Infrastructure Grant, the Accelerated Community Infrastructure Project funding that is available, but we also have to make sure that there are concrete plans that will show us exactly what kind of track those funds will follow.
Urban areas such as the Nelson Mandela Bay are also affected, with rapidly dropping dam levels. Prospects look bleak.
We need more than 50 millimeters over the entire Langkloof, which is our catchment area. Pretty obviously, if it's more than 100, it's better. But we need follow-up rains to fill the dams. And above all, people must use water sparingly.
Climatologists expect the next rain in early February. This, however, is not expected to break the drought. Lerato Fekisi, SABC News in the Eastern Cape.